How to set boundaries. Oftentimes, we have seen in a relationship among people when they want to set limits, when they want to set boundaries. And this oftentimes leads to rifts, leads to issues, whereby the other people will be affected negatively, or the person in question will be affected negatively. In this video, I want to show you a few ways by which you can set boundaries, can set limits in your relationship with people around you, and it will not affect you negatively. Neither will it affect the other people negatively. Come along with me as I show you few ways by which you can set boundaries, can set limits. Now, when you identify that there is a need for you to set limits, to set boundaries with someone or with people around you, first thing first, you must understand that you have to do it clearly, preferably without anger, and cogently. You must ensure that you avoid justifying, rationalizing, or apologizing. Because when you want to set boundary, the most important person in setting boundary, in your boundary, is you and not any other person. Yes, the most important person when you want to set boundary is you and not other person. So let me show you a few ways by which you can set limits, you can set boundaries, and still maintain your relationship positively. First thing first, boundaries are personal issue. Yes, boundaries are personal issue. It's not about other people. Boundaries reflect and contribute to your growth. It is a connection to yourself and connection to others. But you have to know that boundaries, setting boundaries, is not about other people. It's about you and you alone. Number two, you have to know that you cannot simultaneously set a limit, set a boundary, and take care of another person's feelings. No way. You've got to know that you are not setting boundaries to control other people's emotions. No. Setting a boundary is not about other people. It's about you. It's about your personal growth, contributing to your development. Know what you want per time. So, if you want to set a boundary, you are not in control of another person's feelings or another person's emotions. It's all about you. Number three, you have to know that anger, rage, complaining are clues of boundaries that we need to set. Yes, wait, you are not getting angry with people to set a boundary. But in a situation whereby you feel upset, you feel uncomfortable with the surroundings, with the situations of things, that might be a clue, that might be a signal for you to set a boundary. Listen to yourself to hear what you are saying at that particular moment. You feel angry, you feel upset, because that is a clue of taking a step towards your personal growth, towards your personal development. Also, you may need to get angry to set a boundary, but you do not need to stay resentful to enforce it. Yes, anger could be a signal, could be a clue that you need to set a boundary. But you do not need to stay resentful to enforce it. As a matter of fact, you can't enforce anything on people. Do not forget, setting boundaries is all about you, not about others. Number four, boundary setting has its own fun side. Yes, besides learning to identify what you don't like, what you don't want, you also get to identify what you like, what you want, what you feel good. Because setting boundary is all about you, and it is not always about the negative. Do not forget, setting boundaries is towards your personal growth and development. Something that will allow you to have great impact in what you do. Something that will allow you to maximize your effort and your potential. That is why you are setting boundaries. You are not setting boundaries to antagonize anyone, to contradict anyone, or to fight with anyone. Setting boundary is about you towards your personal growth and development. Number five, you've got to know that you will be tested when you set boundaries. Yes, you will be tested when you set boundaries around yourself. But it is not good enough to set boundaries until you are ready to implement it. It doesn't do any good. So, you have to be ready to implement it as soon as possible before you go ahead to set boundaries. Also, oftentimes, the key to boundaries is not convincing others that you have limits. No, you're not focusing your attention on people. Your attention is on yourself. So, the key to boundaries is convincing yourself that you know what to do, you know what you want, you know what you don't like, and you know what you like. Do not forget, it's towards your personal growth and development. Number 6, be prepared, be ready to follow through by acting in congruence with your boundaries. Yes, because oftentimes your boundaries need to match up with your behavior. If your behavior is not matching up with your boundaries, you are deceiving yourself. And as a matter of fact, you can be a victim of that. So, do not walk away from what you are setting as boundary. It has to match up. Do not contradict yourself. Be decisive and be resolute when you set boundaries. Because boundaries are for taking care of you, taking care of yourself, and not for controlling others. No, you are not controlling other people's emotions, you are not controlling other people's feelings. It is all about you and you alone. Number 7, you have to know that some people are ready and happy to respect your boundaries. However, when you set a new one, they may get angry. So at this time, you don't need to stay resentful with them. You don't need to keep a fight with anybody. You have to give them time, because in the meantime, it's going to yield a positive result. And you have to know it is about you, towards your personal growth, not about others. So give it time. Number 8, you will set boundaries when you are ready and not a moment sooner. Boundaries are not set out of outbursts, out of irrational thought, when you have not thought of it, when you have not given it a thought. No, because boundaries is part of your growth. You have to be ready for it, because you can't set a boundary when you're not ready to implement it. And you don't set a boundary because something happens suddenly. You give it a thought. You know what you want, know what you like, know what you don't want, know what you don't like. Those are the things you see. Those are the signals that prompt you, or that might prompt you to set boundaries. It is not a moment sooner. It is part of your growth. Number 9, helpful information on what your rights are and are not, what is normal and what is not normal, what can assist you in establishing and implementing boundaries, are very cogent, because until you gather all this information, you may not be able to set a rightful boundary for yourself. Try as much as possible to gather helpful information, edify one and not destructive one. So in the long run, whatever you set as boundary will be for your personal growth. Last but not the least, you've got to know that boundaries are hard to set with certain people. Boundaries are hard to set with some people, because some people will be more difficult to set boundaries with. But the good news is, those are the people that you need to be more assertive with. Boundary setting is about your personal growth and your personal development. It is about what you like, what you don't like, what you want and what you don't want, how you want to improve on yourself. Setting boundary is not about how to control other people's emotion or other people's feelings. It's not about how to stay resentful or keep a fight with someone. No. Boundary setting is all about you and you. Boundary setting is not about you controlling others or other people's feelings. It is towards your personal growth and development. Therefore, when you set boundary, do not stay resentful with anyone. Do not keep fight with anyone, because it is all about you and you. As you set your boundary, ensure that you are ready to implement it, because that is when you are truly ready to set a boundary. God bless you. Thank you for watching.